This is where we expected him to set the tone for the country going forward. At the time that he was coming to address the House, members of Parliament, as representatives of the people, had raised various concerns that included load shedding, the high cost of living, distribution of farming inputs, among others. It was our expectation that when the President came to address the nation, he was going to deal with these very, very important matters. And we also know that it's the President's address that sets the tone for the budget. However, we were very, very disappointed with the address of His Excellency the President delivered on the floor of the House, as it did not, or it veered off and avoided to address the many challenges the Zambian people are going through. As Honorable Mwila has stated, Zambians are no longer interested in these figures. The billions of dollars of investment there, a 1.2, this other mine is putting in. The simple question is, what is the real contribution? Or what does that particular investment do to a local, an average Zambian living in Kanyama? Does that improve, their welfare? Countrymen and women, if you remember, from 2021, after Comrade Musokotwane delivered his budget speech on the floor of the House, a number of concerns were raised because members of Parliament were able to raise concerns. And the response we're getting from our friends on the right, the UPND, was that wait for our budget. We are implementing a PF budget, wait for our budget. In 2022, when the minister delivered his address to Parliament, we raised issues. They again said, wait for the IMF deal. Wait for the IMF deal. 2023, the same thing, they shifted and said, wait for debt restructuring. As representatives of the people, we can clearly see that our friends in the UPND have never had a clear roadmap on how to develop this country. And that even as they come to Parliament, whether it's the President or the Minister of Finance, they just come with figures in the hope that they will excite citizens to believe that there's something going on. But the net effect on the ground is not felt. So if you look at the area of tourism, what policies in tourism has the UPND government come up with to transform the tourism sector? In the first year, they were talking about the Northern Circuit, the Kasaba Bay, money put in the Kasaba Bay, money put in the UA, and many others. We know that the contribution of the tourism sector to GDP, if there is proper investment, can be quite colossal. But because nothing has happened, there's been no movement in that area. Let's look at the agriculture sector. Right from 2021, the Minister of Finance has been talking about investments in the farming. Because under the Patriotic Front Party, we had set up farming blocks in every province. Every province had a farming block. What was remaining was the investment in those farming blocks. So when our friends took over, we expected that they will begin to put in money so that, one, we create employment, and two, we are food secure. So these farming blocks were properly chosen. These were properly chosen areas. If you look at Northern Province, we actually did studies. We had a Chinese company called China Railway that donated a study which was carried out at the cost of 2 million then. And it was expected that government would take advantage of that and invest in these farming blocks. So if we're talking about transforming the agriculture sector, yes, we've got the FISI program that has been going on. We expected government to go higher by, putting investments in the farming blocks. It must be known that infrastructure, as a matter of fact, is a major part of agriculture. So we expected that by now, 3 years later, government was going to put in money in the agriculture sector. So we therefore hope that government this time around will show some seriousness in whatever they are doing by putting in their budget some money that will go in the farming blocks. Yesterday, the Minister of Agriculture made a statement. Some statement escaped, from his mouth, where he was talking about wanting to do away with FISIP, saying FISIP has been problematic. Yeah, but he forgot that the same FISIP which he says has been problematic, when it was properly implemented, was giving this country a yield of up to over 3 million tons of maize every year. Now, FISIP under Comrade Mutolo and President Hakainde Hichilema, we are beginning to import maize or receiving donations, even from countries that we ordinarily should be giving, assistance to. So I want to appeal to the Minister of Finance that yes, through what Honorable Mutolo said yesterday, we know that you've got plans to do away with FISIP. Our farmers have been surviving through FISIP. We've attained food security through FISIP. So can you please cancel those plans to do away with FISIP? We've been receiving calls the whole morning, from farmers, asking us why the UPND government wants to do away with FISIP. So we want to appeal to you. The stage where we are, the hunger situation in the country, you cannot afford it to be suicidal on your part, Comrade Mutolo, to do away with FISIP. Can you please make sure you sit down with the Minister of Finance as he comes tomorrow? He should have changed figures and reinstated the figures, and if anything, scale up the FISIP so that we can begin to produce as we were producing before. And of course, we expect to get some, we're asking difficult questions. There's been so many figures in the mining sector. The president is always boasting about figures, 1.so billion, that billion, but what's the net effect? First of all, there's been no impact on the foreign exchange of our country. Secondly, we have to question what is the real net effect on our GDP. And so far, we've just been praise singers for the mining houses. Our governments have been turned into praise singers for mining houses. They are always sitting by and clapping for mining houses. When they see equipment coming in, they are clapping. That we are fooled with figures that actually don't even come to this country. Yeah, we can't sit back and watch our leaders being reduced to praise singers for mine owners. The question that we want to ask Her Excellency the President, begin to evaluate the real benefit that we're getting out of the mining sector. My colleagues are going to speak to the various policies that we think need to be changed in the mining sector. But for now, we want to say to His Excellency the President, the only investment that you should speak to is an investment that will bring a real benefit to the Zambian people. If mining houses are investing for their profits and they will later take these profits away, we're not interested. Please don't even talk about them, because these are mere figures that have no impact on our people. And of course, the manufacturing and retail sector. This is one sector that has been neglected. We haven't seen government giving incentives to manufacturing and the retail sector. These are the real drivers of the economy, because they employ people across the sectors. But we haven't seen any promotion. We have seen incentives in the mining sector, where mostly the players are foreign. In the manufacturing sector, we've got very big companies, very good companies that are coming up, but we have not seen government putting any effort in that. Yeah, so I think the last part I wanted to speak to is the selective manner in which development is being done. Like I said to you, 2021, wait for the budget. 2022, wait for IMF. 2023, wait for debt restructuring. I don't know what they're going to tell us now. But in the meantime, all we have seen in these constituencies, we have seen CDF, and everybody is singing CDF. So I remember, Comrade Miller, somebody talked about indoctrination. Indoctrination is where your imagination is arrested. The people who indoctrinate others, play on their mind such that, they forget to even see what is obvious. If you see how our colleagues praise CDF and what CDF has done, you would wonder whether these same colleagues and MPs also have seen the flyover bridges in Lusaka. You would wonder whether they've also seen the airports right across the country. you would wonder where they've seen the road infrastructure. You know, the indoctrination is so bad that the MPs think that, you know, CDF is everything. Yes, CDF has done some work in our constituencies, but we want to remind the people that even when CDF was at 1.6, there's so much development that happened. Now, what is happening now in the constituencies that are situated in areas where the opposition is strong, there is no development coming from central government. So there's a selective way in which government is beginning to churn out this development. If you look at township roads, under the PF, we had literally signed contracts for township roads right across the country. If you ask today, the only areas that are receiving township roads are areas where UPND is strong or the UPND strongholds. Now, we wish to condemn this. We want to say that the Constitution is very clear, Honorable Minister of Finance. Development must be distributed equitably. So the selective manner with which you are churning out development, and specifically on township roads, should stop. You must ensure that in the 2025 budget, you also provide for other areas which are not ordinarily your strongholds. President Edgar Chagwa, I think, showed magnanimity when it came to development. He actually sent most of the development in UPND strongholds, opposition strongholds. It did not matter whether these are the areas where he didn't receive votes. Otherwise, you would not have seen the Chingwala Solwezi Road for what it is today. You know, Kazungula Bridge is in Southern Province. That was a non-PF stronghold. The Mongu Kalabo Road is in Western Province. That is a non-PF stronghold. The Bottom Road is in Southern Province. The Tanpak Mazabuka Road is in Southern Province. President Edgar Chagwa was magnanimous. He took development even to those areas because he stood as the president of Zambia, not president for PF. You could also be interested to know that when we started the program of township roads, the first township roads were done actually in Monze. That's how a leader should be. Monze and Livingstone received the first township roads. What we are seeing now, Honorable Msokotwani, is that you've tactfully chosen certain areas under your strongholds where you're beginning to do township roads and other developments under central government. We want you in the 2025 budget to come and be able to distribute development equitably. The Mporokoso Kawamba Road, the contract on Mporokoso Kawamba Road was terminated together with the Monze Niko Road, Solwezi Mwinilunga Road, and Livingstone Sesheke Road, Nsama Kaputa Road, when the UPND government came into power. I can tell you that the Monze Niko Road, which under the PF was contracted at a cost of 370 million kwacha and terminated by the UPND government, was later re-awarded at a cost of 940 million kwacha. So two things happened. Firstly, they used to say that roads were more expensive under the PF. This contract was acquired at 3 times the cost. But most importantly, the other roads like Mporokoso Kawamba Road, the contract still remains terminated. Minister of Finance, in this year's budget, can you also focus on roads like Mporokoso Kawamba Road, which was terminated a couple of years ago? Monze Niko Road. This road, Monze Niko, is as important to the people of Monze as Mporokoso Kawamba Road is to the people of Mporokoso and Kawambo. By the same token, the Nsama Kaputa Road is as important to the people of Mporokoso and Nsama Kaputa as the Monze Niko Road and the Mwinilunga Road is to the people residing in those areas. The Sesheke Road has also been worked on. We are condemning the selective manner in which you are doing this development. And for your own information, something that everybody knows, our Honor the Vice President comes from Kaputa. So clearly, we expected that a road like the Nsama Kaputa Road should have been priority, because the number 2 in this land actually comes from that area. So there should be some agency, there should be some bias towards some of these roads, because that's where our Honor the Vice President comes from. Her Honor the Vice President will be expected to go to Kaputa to go and garner votes for the UPND in not too distant the future when the elections come. How Her Honor the Vice President go to Northern Province? So first of all, even the MPs from Northern Province, if the road where the VIP comes from is not done, where is the hope for the rest of the roads? So Comrade Msokotwane, these are things that you should have ordinarily remembered on your own, but we think that it's important that we remind you. I just thought I could talk about that. Thank you very much, Honorable Mwila. We hope that the Minister of Finance will take this guidance and be able to change these figures so that development is spread countrywide. And there should be these roads that were terminated together with the Monzeniko road. The contract must be reinstated. Because the people of Northern Province, what is happening, the main road into Northern Province, the Mpika Kasama road, is damaged, it's completely gone. So we have no good road to get into Northern Province. We want, with the same agency that the Monzeniko road was done at 3 times the price, there should be agency for the Mpika Kasama road. That is the main road into Northern Province. So we expect Minister of Finance to come and provide figures for this key infrastructure in this other part of the country. I think